Let's begin with the politics of the anti-CAA protests. Just 2 days after Kerala passed a resolution against the contentious Citizenship Amendment law, DMK MLAs have now demanded a very similar resolution in the Tamil Nadu Assembly. This on a day that the Prime Minister asked opposition leaders to respect the parliament and agitate against Pakistan instead. Here's the top story tonight.
आंदोलन कर रहे हैं, मैं उन्हें कहना चाहता हूं कि आज जरूरत अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर पाकिस्तान की हरकतों को बेनकाब करने की है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi deploring the opposition over its agitation against the Citizenship Amendment Act. Modi's scathing remarks come even as opposition parties sharpen their campaign against the contentious law. Just 2 days after the Kerala Assembly passed a resolution demanding withdrawal of the amendment, DMK MLAs have sought a similar resolution in the Tamil Nadu Assembly.
The Chief Minister, Mr. Panchayat, to bring in such a resolution to show our solidarity and show our opposition to this CAA, NPR and NRC.
Kerala Assembly's resolution against CAA, backed by both Left Front and Congress, has angered the state governor. Arif Mohammad Khan has called the resolution unconstitutional.
This resolution may be a part of the advice which has been given by the History Congress to the government, but this has no legal or constitutional validity. Why? Because citizenship is exclusively a central subject.
The Modi government says a state assembly does not have the powers to question a law passed by the Indian Parliament.
उचित कानूनी परामर्श लें। हमने संविधान के प्रावधान बताया ना, अगर आप संविधान के प्रावधानों के अंतर्गत शपथ लेके मुख्यमंत्री, मंत्री और एमपी और विधायक बनते हैं तो उसका पालन करना भी जरूरी है। और उसमें स्पष्ट लिखा हुआ है कि हर राज्य का ये शासकीय दायित्व है कि वो व्यवस्था करे कि संसद के द्वारा पारित कानून को लागू किया जाए।
It would be very unfortunate if the governor of a state would speak in such demeaning terms. Arif Mohammad Khan is a governor, and I think he should respect the post of the governor.
While Kerala is the only state to have passed a resolution scrapping of Citizenship Amendment Act, many opposition-ruled states are opposing it tooth and nail. These include West Bengal, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Delhi, among others. With Himanshu Mishra in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Is the stage now being set for a centre versus state face-off when it comes to the Citizenship Amendment Act? I'm joined right now by Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who joins me today in the capacity of not so much as a Congress leader, but also a crack legal and constitution expert. But I want to begin with Mr. Singhvi. There's a lot being said about the resolution passed by the Kerala Assembly now, states like or DMK from Tamil Nadu also asking for the same, of being unconstitutional. Does the constitution have anything to do with the resolution being passed in Kerala?
I think there's a whole great confusion going on here. There is no question of a resolution being unconstitutional. I see it, I am now talking purely law, please do not talk politics. I see this as an expression of a view, a strong will of the people of Kerala, to the extent that the majority of the Kerala Assembly reflects that will. They have expressed an opinion by a resolution. That's point number one. Point number two, so it's an expression of the Assembly's viewpoint, and the Assembly is supposed to reflect the views of the people. Second, a resolution is not law. A resolution is not something which we call law or is actionable. It is, as I just put it, an expression of a viewpoint, of an opinion. And that is all there is. Once you see this as an expression and not a law, there is no question of it being unconstitutional or constitutional. This is not a counter law or a new law by the Assembly of Kerala, which is different in terms of a competing law with the CAA or with the proposed NRC, etc. I would therefore stop at seeing this as an expression, a strong expression of the opinion of the Assembly of Kerala.
All right, so Mr. Singhvi, let's just say now that it's limited to being an expression by the Kerala State Assembly. So therefore, sir, it has absolutely no bearing, A, on the constitution and on the law. Whether the state of Kerala likes it or not, it has to accept and implement the law.
In law, I would tend to agree with what you said. I would say that since competence, what lawyers call competence or legislative competence or executive competence, the word competence means power or jurisdiction, to pass such laws on citizenship, for example, vests exclusively in the central government. Therefore, obviously, state governments cannot pass laws on citizenship. It's as simple as that in law. However, laws are based on perceptions, views, political interaction, dialectics. You can't pass a law which 10 states in the country, 15 states in the country, 12 states in the country find themselves vehemently opposed to. And therefore, I would imagine that every lawmaking body in the parliament should take into account those views of the states. But beyond that, yes, I agree that the law is only the CAA, the resolution is not law.
Mr. Singhvi, now in the next 20 days, we are going to have a clutch of petitions which are going to be heard by the Supreme Court against, the CAA, some filed by our own party members like Jairam Ramesh. But my question is, now let's say when the Supreme Court hears these petitions, Kerala has already passed an a resolution against the CAA. Let's say there are one or two more states that do the same. Will that have any bearing on the petition in terms of just under the purview of law?
If 10, 12 states pass resolutions, it's a strong affirmation of the belief of 10, 12 states assemblies, and therefore a strong affirmation of the belief of the people of those 10, 12 states, because by deeming fiction, assemblies are supposed to represent the people of that state. Therefore, it's an expression of opinion of so many large swathes of Indian territory and large slices of Indian population that we do not want the CAA. Now, that clearly is an expression which, in a subconscious psychological sense, always does weigh with judges. But if you're asking me in law, does it have any impact? The answer is no. The law will be judged on its validity. However, the validity of the CAA, when being judged as a legal matter, judges naturally also take into account the fact that large sections of the population are opposed to it. So let's look at it carefully to see whether the law is constitutional or not. Beyond that, there is no direct effect of a resolution in the adjudicatory matrix of the matters pending in the Supreme Court.
But doesn't this somewhere down the line, Mr. Singhvi, precipitate a state of anarchy as such? You already have the Kerala State Assembly passing an anti-CAA resolution. You have states now across the country which say they are not going to implement the NPR. Are we not setting the stage for a state versus centre battle?
Firstly, unlike the CAA, the NPR is not law yet. I mean, forget Assam, but otherwise the NPR, in the sense we are talking about at the national level, is not law yet. It is not law by Parliament. States are fully entitled to express their view. It is like a chief minister of a state saying, it is like the assembly of a state saying, it is like the people of a state saying, we are opposed to NRC and we will not accept it. This is a democracy and people can voice their opinion. As and when and if a law is passed, and remember, Mr. Amit Shah has been strongly talking of an NPR law. The Prime Minister, in a diametrically opposite statement, has said that there is nothing on the anvil yet, no cabinet proposed it. So therefore, it is a hypothetical question. And the Prime Minister and Home Minister, according to me, have contradicted each other completely. But in case there is a NPR law passed, then the issue will be again whether states have any competence and power, and they appear not to have. But that doesn't mean a state is not supposed to express its strong view against NPR, Only difference is they are doing it in advance now.
All right, let me ask you one final question, Mr. Singhvi, not so much as a crack legal expert, but more so as somebody who's attached to the Congress party. You have a state like Kerala which has passed a resolution against the CAA. Any of your states, Mr. Singhvi, that your party governs, Punjab, you have other states as well now, are they also going to be looking at passing a anti-CAA resolution?
Look, I cannot speak for assemblies of states. Obviously, I cannot speak for the Assembly of Rajasthan, for the Assembly of Madhya Pradesh. They're all entitled to take their view. But certainly, you have to be an ostrich in the sand, pulling down the sand over your head and burying yourself 20 feet deep in a hole, living in some kind of an artificial, unreal ivory tower, to ignore the huge upswing, upsurge of resentment across the country. It is no more a question of BJP and Congress. Large sections of the BJP are opposed to it in the northeast. Several states, forget Assam, several states. Large sections of the BJP in other parts of India are also opposed. Many regional party states are opposed. You are a democracy. Democracy works by impulses transmitted from the people to the assemblies, from the assemblies to the head of the country, the Prime Minister, and the relevant ministries. You are not there just to ignore these impulses, saying, look, I am an autocrat, I have issued a farman, nothing, God also cannot change the farman. I turn my eyes blind, I turn my ears deaf, and I have not listened to the wailings and the shoutings of the people. That is not what democracy is. So it is obvious that when you say a state has passed, you should not look at Congress or non-Congress state. You should look at the groundswell of opinion in that state, in the people. Now Delhi, you think, are you fooling yourself if you are a government anywhere in the center and you say all this across the country from Bengal to Uttar Pradesh to Delhi to large parts of southern India, all this is orchestrated by a few political parties? There is nothing spontaneous. It is done by miscreants. These are all foul people who are gundas. Can that view be taken in this sweeping blanket manner in which I hear the BJP ministers talking about it?
All right, Mr. Singh, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you there. Meanwhile, one thing is quite clear. Now, the state like Kerala, which has passed a resolution, the Assembly has passed an anti-CAA resolution. Legally, it really has absolutely no bearing. We're going to continue to debate it. I'm joined right now. We'll be shortly joined by Rakesh Sinha, Rajya Sabha MP, Bharatiya Janata Party, Manisha Priyam. She is an academician and a researcher, Karuna Nandi, senior advocate. I want to quickly cut across before we get Rakesh Sinha to Ms. Priyam. Ms. Priyam, now, what are we setting the stage for? So if you're going to have state assemblies after state assemblies, we've had the, Kerala has done it right now, to actually pass these resolutions. Legally, they're untenable. So what's the point? All right, okay. Ms. Priyam, I'm coming right back to you. I believe we have Rakesh Sinha. I just want to ask him a few questions before we cut across to Ms. Priyam there. Mr. Sinha, if you can hear me, the question is, if, like there is Kerala, which has now started off with a anti-CAA resolution, if there are more state assemblies, sir, which continue to pass this resolution, legally it might be untenable, Mr. Sinha, but morally, wouldn't it weigh quite big on the government if you have 10 to 12 state assemblies who end up actually passing an anti-CAA resolution? Mr. Sinha, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now I can hear you.
Yeah. Mr. Sinha, my question is, the anti-CAA resolution...
Kindly repeat the question.
Yes, sir. The anti-CAA resolution, like now passed by the Kerala State Assembly, is legally quite untenable. It really makes no difference. It's just a form of expression. But if you have more states now joining in to passing this resolution, which is against what the government wants, against the law, will it morally weigh on the government then?
No, it is not merely not legal, but it is unconstitutional. And this is immoral. If you want to deconstruct the Indian federalism, then you can go this way. This means certain political parties have decided to oppose Narendra Modi government in other way, because they can't oppose Narendra Modi, they can't oppose CAA in moral and constitutional grounds. Therefore, they have taken a new way that they are passing resolutions. If the Kerala government has passed the resolution, my question to CPM is, if tomorrow in center there would be another government of another ideology, another political party, and BJP would pass resolution against any central union law, then what will happen? This means a new kind of destructive politics has been started by Communist Party of India, Marxist, and they have the history. After the partition, when the Constituent Assembly was formed, the CPI had demanded 17 Constituent Assembly. They considered that there are the sub-nationality in India, therefore each sub-nationality has their own Constituent Assembly. I believe that this kind of politics is destructive for the Indian federalism, and I consider this politics as anti-federal, anti-constitutional politics of CPM, and unfortunately Congress party is supporting that and saying that this is just an expression of the assembly. This is not an expression. You just go through the resolution. They are condemning, they are saying to take back this law, this back is divisionary, which is not. As far as CPM is concerned, because in Kerala CPM is ruling, 20th Party Congress in 2012, they passed a resolution demanding their amendment in the Citizenship Act 2003. Their position was that those who are victim of historical circumstances, that is partition, they should be given citizens. Moreover, they emphasized that there is a difference between those who are victim of historical circumstances and those who came due to economic reasons. So they made a demarcation between those who came as infiltrators due to economic reasons and those who are refugees. And they are the minorities from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and also include Afghanistan. Therefore, this is the volte-face in the CPM's position. This is, I call it a ideological opportunism of the party.
Okay.
Second thing, that Congress party has ruled this country for many decades. Many times Congress party has framed the law in the center, which has not been liked by the states. But the states have opposed it politically, not through using the majority in the assembly. You are using the political majority in the assembly against the federal system of the country. That is the major point, and I think what Prime Minister today said, that there is a moral ground behind the CAA. Just I am ending with the two statements. The moral ground is that when there is a right to worship to every individual in a secular society, but in Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan, where Islam is a state religion, right to religion is not taken back from any Muslims. There may be fight between Shia, Sunni, Ahmadiyya, but everyone has a right to worship.
Okay.
Nobody is being stopped to go mosque or perform namaz. Here, right to worship has been withdrawn, and the persecution is in the name of religion and religious identity. So this is a moral. This is nothing against the morality, against constitutionality, okay. And this is in consonance with our civilizational tradition.
Okay. But Mr. Sinha, we want to focus back on the resolutions that have been passed. I think we've had a number of debates, and we've been inundated. You know, we've had a number of debates on the CAA itself. And, you know, we talk about the resolution that's being passed. You say it's against the Constitution. I want to bring in Karuna Nandi now, senior advocate on this. Karuna, this resolution that has been passed, say, by the Kerala government, you have now demands in Tamil Nadu by DMK to do so, to do the same. Is it against the Constitution? Because whether these states pass a resolution or not, ultimately they have to accept the law. Is it in conflict with the Constitution of this country is what I'm asking you.
Thank you, Preeti. I'm an advocate. I'm not yet a senior advocate. Look, I don't think the constitutionality of the resolution is relevant, nor can it really be adjudicated upon, because Article 212 of the Constitution also says that these affairs, cannot be adjudicated upon. Now, what the Kerala government itself and the Kerala members of the Kerala Assembly acknowledge quite clearly is that it is the expression of the state of Kerala and the feelings of the state of Kerala. So honestly, I don't think it's really the sort of faux outrage that I'm hearing from Mr. Sinha and others isn't about whether they are going to implement it or not. They're saying that, look, we are against it and we think it's wrong and we think it's unconstitutional. I don't see such a big problem with that. Now, in terms of the morality of it and in terms of the constitutionality of what the BJP government and the Sangh Parivar are doing, I think it's very, very important to remember that in such a situation where they are constructing a nation not of people of one religion, but of people of the kind of persuasions that they wish to propagate. So you or I or other Hindus watching this program are not necessarily the people that they are constructing this nation for. They are trying to construct the kind of nation that where their idea of Hinduism and including what to wear, what you eat, what you say, and not just how you worship and what your name is something that will exclude people who toe the line, exclude the people who don't toe the line, right? And of course, very much exclude Muslims. That's been made very clear. Now, in such a situation, I think to focus on whether such a resolution should have been passed or not would be a mistake, because I think, of course, this resolution should be passed. In terms of protest and the politics of protest, this is not a CPM thing exclusively. Now, Mr. Modi himself came to power on the back of the Navnirman movement that of approximately 1973. If you look at his website itself, it is something that where it was a movement where Congress, legislatures, cars were torched, etc. It was a massive protest and it many times turned violent. The website itself acknowledges the fact that this is what brought Mr. Modi to power. Let us also remember that the JP movement is what the RSS
I'm going to come right back. You know, Karuna, we're going to talk a bit deeper on that. I want to go back to Mr. Sinha.
If every citizen worth its salt did not stand up,
before I do so, I want to bring in Ms. Prem. Ms. Prem, you know, what Mr. Sinha says has a point, but it cuts both ways. Mr. Sinha says that this is creating, you know, passing an anti-CAA resolution is something which already is a law. It is creating a sense of anarchy right now because it doesn't quite matter. You're creating a conflict directly between the center and the states. On the other hand, do you think morally it should weigh on the government if tomorrow, you know, there's not just Kerala alone, there are more states which join the anti-CAA resolution?
See, if you go strictly by the sense of the constitution, the center legislates on issues that are in the union list and states legislate on issues that are in the state list. On the concurrent list, it is the will of the center or the legislation of the center that prevails if both are legislating. So therefore, the Kerala Assembly passing even a sense of the House of this kind is not in order. The Kerala Assembly, however, is made of political parties. The political parties are free to protest against a central legislation if they don't find that it is according to their political preferences. That could be done outside of the House. But as far as the work of the legislatures are concerned, there is no doubt that the Constitution does provide. On the union list itself, there can be no debate. You can have a political argument saying, look, these are the provisions of the CAA that we feel are not in consonance with what is the ground reality in our states, or these are the difficulties that we may face in implementing. Remember, the CAA does not play out as a single uniform law. Assam's problems with the CAA are different from what Kerala may be experiencing, and therefore Kerala as a state has a right to the center, inform the center, but legislating through its house, using its majority to talk to the majority of the parliament is unseen and unheard of. At the same time, I feel that, you know, remember, all citizenship laws today are complicated laws. They are not simply nationality type issues. There are also issues about domicile. There are also issues about BPL cards. There are also issues about whether you can buy land or not. On all those matters, remember, states have a greater arena of discretion. They are the ones who are going to implement it. So they have every right to write back to the center. There are issues where there can be a perception that they have. It may be an administrative perception. If they have a political perception, they are free to protest. But I can't see a manner in which a state assembly will say that I need to pass even a resolution, even a sense of the House on issues that are not within the list of the state legislature. And remember, the governor in these circumstances is designed to be an agent of the center. So you can have any feeling of morality, But that's as far as the law book goes on this matter.
Doesn't cut it. All right, okay. I want to come back to Rakesh Sinha. Rakesh Sinha, would you reckon that there is going to be a bit of pressure on the government on this? So you have a state of Kerala passing an anti-CAA resolution. You have states and leaderships which possibly supported the CAA now say they do not support the NRC. They are also resisting the NPR. Now, do you reckon there will current pressure on the government because you have enough states now coming together against what is now a law and possibly looking at the NPR coming in?
No, we can't divide the country between BJP ruled states and non-BJP ruled states. There is a constitution and federalism is the part of the basic structure. If you are going against federalism, then you are attacking the basic structure of the constitution. If you feel that this constitution is unfit, the constitution framed by our fathers of the constitution, including Baba Saheb Ambedkar, is unfit, then you go for the amendment in the constitution and a new constitution. But under this constitution, you cannot pass a law in the assembly saying that this union law is unacceptable to the state. If you are doing so, this means you are going directly against the federal system of the country. That means balkanization of the Indian state. Those who are pleading and supporting the Kerala government resolution are agents of balkanization of Indian state. What other means to balkanize the state? If you are saying that we are not accepting the center, this means, are you going to create a new center? Are you going to create a new federal system within the federation? I don't know. Some lawyers are coming and supporting that this is immoral. How CAA is immoral? It is not only Hindus. Parsis, you don't consider Parsis as minorities? You don't consider Christians as minorities? Who are the victim of blasphemy law in Pakistan? Christians are victim of the blasphemy law in Pakistan. And no Muslim is deprived from the right to worship in Pakistan. Only Hindus, Parsis, Jews, Buddhists and Jains, they are being deprived. In Afghanistan, 220,000 Hindus and Sikhs were by the 1990s. Now their number is 1,400. Out of 64 gurdwaras and temples, only 3 are functioning.
You know, we've debated this. We've debated the CAA. It is already a law now, so there's no point going into that debate right now.
Let me complete.
I want to ask you another question,
Let me complete. No.
Okay, complete.
No, it's important point because yes. No, it's because that you are opposing. There must be some ground, either constitutional or moral. On both the grounds, CA is in consonance with the morality and constitutionalism. Second thing, this means in the past we have given space to Parsis and Jews. We have done a blunder.
But sir,
why not we have given?
Sir, you have your own. You have
who are suppressing.
Sir, you have your own allies. Some of them who have supported you in Parliament and now saying they will not support you when the NRC comes. Right? You have the JDU in Bihar, which says they will not support the NRC. You have a YSRCP in Andhra Pradesh saying they will not support the NRC. So you have enough pressure from your own allies. It's not just the opposition who's protesting, right? And then, of course, it's clubbed by the protests, which are, of course, organic across the country.
No, the child. Without the birth of child, you are started characterizing the child. There is no plan for NRC. Prime Minister has declared in public in Ramlila ground. A government has not mooted NRC.
But sir, there's enough trust deficit 9 times over. Your Home Minister has said.
It's not the invention of the BJP government.
That NRC is he even gave a deadline for the NRC saying 2024.
Let me complete. The idea of NRC is not mooted by the BJP government. The idea of NRC is already mooted by the Indian state. Indian state means sometimes Congress rules, sometimes BJP rules, sometimes other party may.
Sir, it's not the.
So you have to make a difference.
But the point is, sir, is the idea of NRC plus CAA, which is unsettling to a lot of people.
Another thing,
and they think the NPR is the first step of the NRC. And this is the in-state, sir, which are your allies as well.
I don't understand. I don't understand the Kerala.
Yes, sir. Please make your point.
Kerala it hardly matters who are opposing, who are supporting. You have to judge the constitutionality and morality on technical ground.
Okay.
Whether this is unconstitutional or not unconstitutional, whether JDU opposing or someone else opposing, JDU has supported CAA. As far as the Kerala government resolution is concerned, it's not about the NRC. This is about the CAA. This means this is the biggest political opportunism of the CPM. 2012, they are supporting the amendment in the constitution. They are supporting the refugees should be given citizenship.
Okay.
Now they are opposing it. So I consider the CPM is doing
okay,
a blunder.
so let's stick
and
to the
they would face
CAA there. Let's not get into the
consequences
higher
the
context which we were
Kerala would
talking
respond.
about,
The
the
way
point you
Irfan
made.
Habib.
Okay, all right, okay. I want to close the show, but I want to quickly bring in Manisha Priyam for one closing comment. Manisha, how do you see this play out right now? Because one thing is clear, there's this massive trust deficit.
Can I just
yes, Karuna, I'll come to you as well.
Important legal point to make. There are many legal things that he said that are incorrect.
Okay,
Karuna,
come in.
Point.
Come in. First, Karuna, come in, then I'll go to Manisha Priyam.
Thank you. Karuna Nandi. Now, the thing with what Rakesh Sinha has been saying is that almost all of it is legally incorrect. Firstly, the basic structure of the Constitution does not include religion. It does include equality between religions. Article 14 is the name of that provision. The basic structure is articulated in a judgment called Keshav Nanda Bharti. There are about 13 judgments there, but you can read many primers on it.
I said federalism is a part of basic structure. Federalism is a part of basic structure.
Don't the NRC is something. If I may just, you've had a lot of time. I did not interrupt.
Mr. Sinha, let her
now,
make her
secondly,
point.
religion is not a part of basic structure. Equality between religions is a part of basic structure.
You are giving a wrong interpretation.
Secondly, you said that the
I'll come back to you, sir.
I said federalism is a part of basic structure.
The NRC, Mr. Sinha, has already been begun. Let me explain to you how. The Citizenship Amendment Bill of 2003, which was promulgated by the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, in its section 14A has been inserted. It relates to national identity cards. It says the central government may maintain a national register of Indian citizens and for that purpose establish a national registration authority. That is the law that your NDA government passed. Now, let me make you aware of that. Now, the third thing I would like to make you aware of is the fact that the NPR is something that gathers data which fits in directly to the NRC. And let me also make you aware and let the people who are watching aware that this is not just about Muslims. That anyone who doesn't have documents as per the Sonowal judgment, the burden of proof will be on the person who is trying to prove that they are from this country.
Karuna, I need to wrap. I want to get a quick comment in by
not only do you have to prove where you were born and have the papers for that, where your parents were and your grandparents. Just very, very quickly to finish my point is to say that when you are looking for a criminal, you don't get all the rest of the citizens to come in and to prove that they are not guilty. The way you are going about it, sir, is wrong. Morally, constitutionally, and you should scrap the whole
Sinha,
structure.
Quickly respond, and I want to get a closing statement from Ms. Priyam then.
No, I said that federalism is part of basic structure. When you are going against the federal system and the union law, you are rejecting union law. This means you are trying to create a parallel center. And this is unacceptable in this country. Our union is indestructible, and that's why I say the Kerala government's resolution is immoral, unconstitutional, and again an attack on the basic structure. Therefore, I say that.
All right, sir. Okay, one very quick comment. Okay, Manisha Priyam, what do you think is going ahead? Because clearly, what we have created is this massive stage for a direct conflict between the centers and the state.
No, I don't think there's a direct conflict between the center and the state. What has already been an affirmed line now with the Prime Minister himself stating this, that the combo pack of the CAA and the NRC does not have to be seen together. Whether we like it or not, there has been a backtracking of what the Home Minister said on the floor of the Parliament by the Prime Minister. So what this government therefore in its statements needs to be held on is that the Prime Minister's statements supersede those that are made by the Home Minister. Now that remains where it is. As far as the states are concerned, the states have their right to express their opinion even on a centrally legislated act. They can express their opinion, they can write to the center. There are forums where the state chief ministers meet the Prime Minister. They can seek appointments with the Prime Minister, but a state legislature passing even a sense of the house, not a law. They can't pass a law. It will be deemed illegal ab initio. It cannot take place there. The Kerala legislature cannot do this. They have implementation issues. They need to write to the appropriate authorities. But state legislatures cannot be seen to be clashing with the houses of parliament in India.
This we can keep debating this, but appreciate you both for joining us, and thank you, Mr. Sinha. We're going to watch the developments very keenly. You already have DMK from Tamil Nadu asking for an anti-CAA resolution like in Kerala. What happens in the days to come? We'll keep our viewers updated on that.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.